What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube, our Wednesday afternoon show presented by our friends at Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar and Front 43 Neighborhood Pub, the original Couch and the Rube sponsor, an unbelievable place for a date night, for a work lunch, to catch a game, whatever it may be. Two distinct vibes, two adjacent restaurants and bars next to each other with one fantastic menu and drink selection, an underrated patio as well. I've got friends coming to town this weekend, and I'm planning to take them to Cask & Company in Front 43 because it's a go-to place for me. And it's a place I recommend to folks, and I think anybody who's been there knows how I feel about them, how we feel about them, and why we feel that way about Cask & Company in Front 43. Go to caskandcompany.com to make a reservation today. Especially recommend that on the weekend. Jason, how you doing, brother?
It's the American way. Except America has gotten soft.
Pound the bushes.
Hey, buddy, what's going on, man?
Doing well,
How was
man.
Moneyball last night?
It was fun. It was entertaining.
I saw Coen Carr
Yeah,
laying it down, entertaining the folks.
he knows the assignment.
Yeah.
He's
Is it still like a donation thing at the door?
Yeah,
Or
it's
is he
like
charging.
no, it's free. It's like $1 for the roster. It's like $1.
Okay,
but
there's still that box. Like the last time I was there was like a box where you could swing by
100%.
and throw like $5 in there.
Yep.
Hopefully people are doing that.
Yeah, the
Because it's
thing.
a lot of. It's good entertainment for, if you throw a 10 spot there.
Well, I think a lot of people don't even realize that the Moneyball Pro-Am is associated with Desmond Ferguson's Moneyball Sportswear. Like it's right. It's.
Well, what do they think it is? I mean,
I don't know. I think they think
an
it's
announcement have to be made. Or?
It does. People don't seem to get it all the time.
Is it like the local news when you have to tell people, hey, stay safe out there, it's hot out. Here's 7 ways we can keep you safe in this heat.
Well, that's just.
And you're like 70. I'm like, how many summers have you been through? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the older you get, the more you learn. I feel like our 15-year-old people, those folks need to be told, hey, don't be sitting out in the heat too long.
Those are two separate things you just brought up. One is killing time on air, which we do a lot here. That's sort of a specialty. The other is when you're just sort of engagement farming, so to speak. You're trying to, it's an easy story to do. Ways to stay safe, and you are doing a community service. You are doing that.
That's a nice way to put it. Sure.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Hey, listen, I'm a big fan of local news.
Yeah,
but that's just because I worked it in my 20s. That's why I watched. I don't know if I didn't do that, would I watch it?
You would have enjoyed this morning. I was in my element. I went and spoke to a bunch of middle schoolers at a Spartan writing camp over in East Lansing, our journalism camp, rather. They had amazing questions. I am
by youngsters. What are we talking?
We're talking like 11 to 13.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, young kids.
Respectful questions.
Unbelievably thoughtful, respectful questions.
Really?
Yeah. I
thought every kid was an a-hole. Like I would have automatically assumed.
I thought going in, I was like, I'm gonna have to really dumb it down, and they were really good. And
so 11-year-old Rube asking you dumb questions.
We went for like an hour and 10 minutes of asking questions, just round and round. Unbelievable stuff. Yeah.
Do they know about the podcast?
They don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you have to stop there.
I don't want them to, listen.
An hour and 15?
Hour 10, yeah.
Of that. Wow.
Yeah.
Because you're long-winded, so you do answer questions, right?
I would say each kid had between 5 and 7 questions, and there were like 12 kids. Yeah.
Why don't we cut it to 3? These kids get 5 to 7 questions.
They were good.
Was there any interesting questions? I mean, what was the most interesting of the?
Well, they asked about Ron Banks and Barry Sanders. No, they had
They're
had
11. They're not 50.
They had lots of detailed interview questions and questions about AI and questions about like things that I couldn't even answer.
I was about to say, how'd you answer that AI?
I am screwed when these kids actually get to the business. I'll be out of work pretty quick. That's why you treat the young ones nice. So when they're your boss, they keep you employed. But so that was cool. And you know me, I have lots of credibility around kids who aren't my own. So
I could tell because usually you wear one of your Michigan festive T-shirts and a hat or something. And when you come in with a shirt like that, I'm like either jury duty or so. I'm trying to figure out something that you had to go do, interview Bob Nightingale or Adam Nightingale.
Yeah. This one,
or talk in front of students.
This shirt also does a nice job of hiding my man boobs.
Has to.
That's sort of a key. Which not every shirt.
But it's supposed to help. But if you mention that you have man boobs,
then people stare.
Right, like on a show.
Yeah.
You know, it's a certain amount of viewership and listenership. I don't know. Not good. Great idea, but
so yeah, last night Moneyball Pro-Am started, and a lot of thigh watching. You know, I always enjoy the first night. You get to see some people who are you haven't seen in a while. We see listeners of this show. Judith says hi, by the way.
What's up, Judith?
Yeah.
Oh, Judith. I love Judith.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah.
She had some show suggestions, ways we can improve. We'll get into those. Get into those later. But I mean, I felt all of Fred
Did you
Human.
feel any of Fred Human last night?
He was not there. Yeah, it was good.
What's he doing? Isn't he supposed to be there?
Yeah, no Ebling, no Human.
No Ebling? No. Ebling wasn't live?
No, I don't know what's going on.
What is happening? Moneyball is at its best. Like, it's at its apex right now. What's happening?
Yeah, it was cool, though, because
Ebling would go live in front of a Target. I mean, what is he doing?
Yeah, he did that for a while. I don't know. Maybe he couldn't sell it. Nobody wanted to sponsor. Or maybe Desmond won't let him in anymore. It's like, I don't know if that's a good idea. Yeah.
Please let that be true.
It was entertaining. It was fun. You know, there were not every Michigan State player was there. I think Jeremy Fears is with his brother who's getting in the NBA draft tonight. Jace Richardson
Top 5, huh?
Also expected to go in the first round tonight, and we'll talk about that during our Groovy Donut Twitter questions show, which we're going to do Thursday this week. So you won't have to wait long. We'll put out right after Jace gets picked, I'll put out a call for questions, and we'll go from there. But there were some, and Jesse McCulloch has, had the boot on his foot and confirmed the stress fracture, and he says he's about 4 weeks out. So he'll miss Moneyball, but he should be back by August. And, it was –
I just hate seeing that boot.
Yeah.
I hate seeing that boot.
There was some
in a way.
There was some stuff to take from it, though. And Moneyball, we talk about this all the time. You have to be careful. You can overanalyze. But there were things that, like, for example, the way Coen Carr played, his approach, he's always understood lots of autographs, pictures, dunk at every opportunity, and he had some of those. He had a half dozen dunks that were incredible. But much more of him taking the ball in different places, handling it, being the elf on the court. He had one sequence where he had a breakaway dunk on the next possession, a pull-up three over a defender. And he had a couple threes, one on the he's not taking a huge volume of them, but he's clearly trying to show he could shoot, and he talked about that afterwards. And the best play that Coen Carr made that I think could be a winning shot for him this year is he had this really hard drive dribble just to about the free throw line, pull up over a defender, and the guys guarding him were athletic. These are D1 guys, high D2 guys, real good athletes, and the guy, it's Coen Carr coming downhill at you. You think he's going to the rim. So you've got somebody on their heels, and he stops on a dime, jumps, and hits a 15-footer. Like that, if that shot can be something that he does in terms of on the drive where people are assuming he's going to the rim, and he can make that with some level of consistency, that's going to be a real weapon for him. And obviously the outside shot is important and continuing to be able to
because as a defender, you have to man, is he going to dunk on me from there?
100%.
You're going to be on a poster. You're going to be multiple videos. By the way, I saw Jackson wearing a hoodie. Was he wearing like a cutoff hoodie like Bill Belichick?
Sweaty.
Like, damn, dude. I was thinking
impressive.
That's the first thing I thought of when I saw the hood coming out of the jersey. I'm like, dude, how hot was that?
Yeah. Not
like sexual hot, but like physically, it's got to be just insane. I love it.
It was, and he looks,
Let's go. Can this season start already? That's the problem with Moneyball I have, is I see these things. And
you
like, man, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Wait till October.
No, I thought Cam Ward looked really good too. He's a guy who, when you talk about thigh watching, he doesn't have the Marcus Bingham issue.
When you talk about thigh watching,
he just looks the part. He looks the part. And I'm not saying he can't get stronger. He certainly can and will. But he looks like a more seasoned guy out there. I would be stunned if he doesn't play a decent role. And he even took a couple threes and made one at the top of the key that looks like that's a familiar shot for him. I don't know how much he'll do that in the season, how much 3 versus 4 he'll play, and how much that'll matter. But I think you'll see a fair bit of him with Coen. He played with Coen last night, and they're on a team together. I think you'll see him behind Jackson and maybe playing a little with him. I'm curious to see what his game evolves to. divine Ugo Chukwu. The other guy,
Ugo Chukwu.
Yeah. Anyway, he
Ugo.
Ugo.
Yeah.
He's the guy this year. I'm not going to do the tum-tum comparison.
Oh, God.
But he's the guy this year because, you can see the explosiveness. But he hit some shots, some threes, the last night that were like he's either been working on that or he's going to be the guy who hits them in Moneyball who doesn't hit him in the season. And I don't know which it is. It's hard to know. But he looked comfortable doing it. And there's a guy, just from an athletic standpoint, if he adds a three-point shot, becomes a very different player. And becomes a very difficult player to stop downhill. So, those are all, those were some of the highlights.
So what are we talking? Big Ten championship, Final Four
from the
after
opening
one night
Moneyball.
Moneyball. Let's overreact.
Trey Ford, I should mention, looked. Trey Ford is somebody who I've heard really good things about, and I've heard good things about him and Kurt Tang. And I'm actually working on a piece on Kurt Tang. Talked to him for a little while last night alone after the last game.
Did you ask him how he feels about being Graham Couch's guy? And it's going to be talked about all summer long.
Kurt Tang?
Yeah. Big expectations.
I'm not going to do that to him.
Monday we talk Kurt Tang.
He does. He's the guy. Like, you remember 2 years ago when Jackson Kohler changed his body, and you're watching Moneyball, and you go, "Holy crap!" Like, he really did some work.
He's wearing hoodies, like cut off hoodies and shit.
When you stand next to Kurt Tang and look at his biceps and chest, that man has been in a weight room. And I spent a lot of time, thighs, biceps, really? Chest. I'm sorry.
Sir, but can you watch from out there? You're freaking everybody out.
Kerr is very proud of it. He's been working. He went through. He got humbled a little bit last year, and I think everybody comes in and they think they're going to make an impact. He was the Moneyball MVP a year ago, but he and Trey Ford are being heavily relied upon at the two guard spot. So we'll see, whether they can be consistent enough. They're very different players. Trey Ford, you can see his first step is something. And he creates space with it, and he knows how to get downhill with it. He's also 36 years old, which helps. He knows the game. He's an athlete. He's not Coen. What's funny is when Coen Carr the problem with Coen Carr is he makes everybody seem unathletic. Like, Trey Ford is an amazing athlete. He's an above-the-rim guy. He had a 360 layup. He's impressive. But then Coen Carr plays, and you're like, yeah, all right. It's
He's a bull in a china closet.
There are guys even within the realm of athletes that are next level athletes. So it'll be a fun summer. And Jeremy Fears should be back next. You're not going to see you're not going to see Jesse McCullough.
No.
Yeah, you're not going to see Jace Richardson. If he shows up right after the NFL draft, that would be.
If he shows up after the NFL draft, that'd be really wild. The NBA draft, that is. I mean, if that's what you meant.
That's what I meant. I apologize. That's what I meant. But yeah, you should see everybody else, the other guys who are missing, and that includes Jordan Scott. For example, he said nothing was serious, and he should be fine.
No boot.
He'll play. I don't know if he'll play Thursday, but he'll play when they return after July 4th. So. Some interesting stuff there. I think you can take certain things away from it. You don't want to take too much, but it's fun, and there are elements that are real, and like Coen Carr's mindset, that's something that's real. You look at Cam Ward, you get a sense of a guy who's going to play. You can see the development and the work that Kurt Tang's put in. We'll see what that means when games actually hit and whether he can defend at the level he needs to be the player they want to be. They know he can shoot and all that stuff. So, anyway, we'll talk plenty more Moneyball and MSU basketball as the summer goes along. Do you want to get our friend Cody Stavenhagen on the phone? We are going to talk Tigers with Cody. I think this is a good time to do it. A lot going on with them, and and then we're going to have Harry Gagnon on and talk some betting, including some interesting stuff going on with him. He's in Spain, I think, right now, which is typical Harry. While he does that, a reminder: Front 43 and Cask & Company, one of the best reservation systems around. Just go to caskandcompany.com, and when you do, you'll see it's very easy. Which side of the restaurant do you want to be on? You can put notes into you want a booth, whatever that is. And if you're going to take somebody out on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, highly recommend the reservation system. Caskandcompany.com. That's just north of Frandor on East Saginaw in Lansing, and it's just you know how we feel about it. It's an unbelievable place, and I wouldn't steer you wrong on this. And it's not just because they are our original our original sponsor. They also have some new drink selection, new drink menu, great happy hour specials, and an underrated patio. One of the absolute gems of Lansing, and glad we ran into it several years ago. I think, do we have Cody?
We got voicemail.
We got voicemail.
I got voicemail twice on Cody. Sorry.
All right. Well, let's take a really quick break. When we come back, we'll figure out if we can get Cody or we'll pivot. Right. Couch in the Room, presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar.
Firekeeper's Online Casino and Sportsbook is the site to play from your phone, tablet, or laptop. Get in on all the football action with pre- and in-game wagering. There's showdowns every week in football that you can't miss. Plus, the college and pro hoops are red hot, and the pucks are cool. Get your first casino deposit and sports wager matched up to $500 each. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and located in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117. Where else can you cheer on your team? Enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi. Sip on handcrafted cocktails or one of 46 beers on tap. Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. Two amazing places with one awesome blended modern American Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Ever wonder how comfortable you can be and how good you can look? Put on a Muskox flannel and find out. Muskox has new arrivals for this fall, including the Caper Green Grand Flannel, which even makes couch look good. Muskox is a Detroit-based flannel company that creates soft and durable flannels made to last a lifetime. They become a great partner with Couch in the Rube, not just because they make us look good and feel good, but because they're good people too, and a socially conscious company. For every $100 purchase, $10 is donated to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation. Muskox flannels are designed with 100% cotton that is ethically sourced and double brushed for softness. Feel the quality and comfort of a Muskox flannel by ordering at gomuskox.com, where Couch in the Rube listeners can enjoy $15 off their flannel purchase with the promo code HOFF. Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com. If you're looking for a relaxed vibe, great food, and an outstanding beer selection, Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing is your place. Enjoy their famed chicken and waffle fries, fish and chips, or any of their delicious burgers or salads. Midtown Brewing Company also offers 40-plus beers on tap, including ciders and seasonal offerings and daily happy hour specials. The spacious and cozy vibe makes Midtown Brewing Company a perfect place for a beer with a friend, a work lunch, or to watch the games on its big screen TVs. If you'd rather eat at home, Midtown Brewing Company offers a terrific carryout menu and free delivery on orders of $20 or more. Visit MidtownBrewingCompany.net or stop by 402 South Washington in downtown Lansing for the Midtown Brewing Company experience.
Find Couch in the Rube podcasts on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, CastBox, and the Rube's favorite podcast addict.
Couch in the Rube, our Wednesday show, presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar. Very pleased now to have our friend Cody Stavenhagen from The Athletic, covers the Tigers. Love reading his stuff, including this morning, Tigers Wenzel Perez is a field day showing his developmental success. Good piece on Wenzel, who's a guy who wasn't that huge a prospect, and now has become a guy who I think, Cody, you have to think is, do they look at him as a future in the outfield now at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think they definitely do. You know, I don't know that anyone's declaring Wenzel Perez the next star, but he's very much become the type of player that I think has really formed the backbone of this Tigers team. I mean, you have all-star caliber guys in Skubal, Green, Gleyber Torres. We all know about Torkelson, up and down the list. But One thing that's helped put this team over the top is guys like Winsel Perez, guys like Zach McKinstry, Javi Baez doing things out of nowhere. Like, this is a deep team. It uses all 13 position players on its roster. Winsel Perez is one of those guys who, a year ago, he was an infielder who couldn't throw the ball to first base. He had an okay hitting profile in the minor leagues, maybe had a little bit of upside. He's a switch hitter, but I'm not sure anyone knew what to make of him. I'm not sure it was clear there would be a spot for him, but he continued to improve as a hitter. This year he's been a lot better from the right side, and he took to the outfield really well. This year, even better. I think he looks more comfortable than last year. He's a really solid role player, and you'll find good teams tend to have really solid role players.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain guys that when they come up to the plate, you think are going to get a hit. It's sometimes not even so much statistically relevant. Like, I mean, you just have faith that this guy's going to get a hit now. Gleyber Torres has been that guy as well, and obviously Riley Green. There are lots of guys this year who you feel that way about, and that's part of the reason they've had the success they have, getting to 50 wins so quickly. But you feel that way with him and the big hits and the big times and some of the home runs that he's produced. So 50 wins already, 20 games ago above 500, practically 10 up on the rest of the division. Is like, how close to, like, they're on pace for 100 wins. I still don't know that this is a 100-win type of team, but at a certain point you just are what you are, and you're just about at the midpoint of the season. What do you think this team actually is? Like, where do you think they finish?
I think this is a really good team. I think that's just cut and dry. They've been so good so consistently. It almost gets a little boring, right? To your point, where it's like, well, they're lapping everyone in the AL Central, but do you feel like they're a powerhouse? Like, maybe not. I think over the past month, especially, we've seen some of their flaws exposed. The pitching has gotten really thin. They're going to need to upgrade at the deadline. The offense, this team still ranks fifth in runs scored, but over the past month, they've slipped kind of toward the middle of the pack in overall production. I think that's probably a more realistic representation of what this lineup is. But this is a team that does a lot of things well, that runs the bases well, that has high-end talent, that has Scooble going every fifth or sixth day. Like, this is a good baseball team. It's going to be really hard for them to blow this lead in the AL Central. To finish with 100 wins, to win the World Series, I think they're going to need a little more firepower, pitching especially, maybe hitting too. But that doesn't mean we should take for granted that this is a first-place team that's having a heck of a season.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine, not just, I mean, if they go 500 the rest of the way, they're going to win 90 games. And,
right.
It's hard to imagine anybody else in the AL Central right now winning 90 games, the way that the Central's shaking out. At what point, you're never taking anything for granted, but at what point do you think they start to think about how they position themselves as a playoff team, what they look like as a playoff series, rather than whether they can get through a regular season to get to the playoffs and to win the division and all that sort of stuff? Because I think those are two separate things in some ways. Getting to the play, I mean, if you're a team that all year was going to be in a battle just to get there, what you need is different than what you need to win 5- and 7-game series in the postseason.
Yeah, I think you're right. Those can be competing interests at times, and even maybe at the trade deadline that presents an interesting balance. Like, we know you need swing and miss relievers, but it can be easy to say, hey, let's make one huge deal and bring in some big name guy. And that's a little bit different than what you need to get through the season. Part of enduring 162 means keeping your best arms fresh. Will Vest and Tommy Kahnle have been your guys in the bullpen. You've rode them pretty hard. Like, you need other options. Maybe that's where, guys like Chase Lee, who come up from the minors, have been helpful. Some of these other guys we're seeing come through can be helpful. You got to keep your players fresh, position players too. Like, you want to win as many games as you can, but you need Riley Green healthy in October. You need Kerry Carpenter in a better place than he is right now in October. So I think some of that means building depth. But like I said, firepower, I think, tends to win in the postseason. So that's kind of what this team has to be looking to add, I think, near the trade deadline. That's something they have to already be thinking about, but not in spite of becoming weaker in other areas, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, you wrote a couple weeks ago a good trade deadline primer for the Tigers, 3 storylines to watch, and it was about the bullpen, a right-handed bat, and pitching, and how aggressive they need to be there. They've stumbled a little for 2 weeks. I'm just wondering, like, has your thought process over the last couple weeks about what their priority is? I mean, I think this team's earned management going out and doing something. But what the actual priority is and what is most needed?
Yeah, it's evolved a little bit. I mean, I think bullpen is probably still number one, and I think it might be more than just one guy. I think maybe you need to get 2 really solid relievers, add kind of some layers to this pin. And the other thing, starting pitching continues to look more and more important. We see it, like there's another injury scare with Casey Mize. You just kind of can't afford to lose anyone else. You start talking about trying to win a playoff series. With Jack Flaherty kind of regressing, how good do you actually feel about the Tigers 1 through 4 right now? Reese Olson's been out a while. Is he going to be the same when he gets back? I think there's a need to go get a starting pitcher. You could even think of it as, God forbid, worst case scenario, what if Skubal gets hurt? Maybe it's not even an arm injury. Maybe he tweaks a hammy or something. You could be in a bad spot. So I think there's a strong and building case to not just get a starter, maybe go get a pretty good starter. Maybe get a guy with a couple of years of team control. Edward Cabrera, the Marlins, is just one name that comes to mind. There are more guys out there. Maybe someone who can help you not just this year, but in the future too. There's some guys like that available. And as this pitching continues to look a little thin, that continues to I think, look like a real need to me.
Yeah, it's hard to, even with Casey Mize, I mean, he's obviously going to be part of the rotation, but there are days you trust him more than others based on the performance. They really only have one guy that you trust day in and day out. Yeah, that's a good question. Riley Green, this stretch he's been on, I mean, he looks like he's playing like a perennial all-star. He's playing like a middle of the lineup guy who can really anchor a team. Just from a talent standpoint, I've always thought he had that. Is there, and it's obviously this latest stretch is only so big a sample size, and everybody goes through stretches where they go up and down. But is he like unequivocally the guy in that lineup? And we always talk about the Skubal contract. I'm just wondering with Riley Green, how soon do you think they get something done with him?
But yeah, I think he is the guy in this lineup. It's really no surprise to me. He's been an extremely gifted, instinctual hitter since day one when I first saw him playing professional ball in the minor leagues. We saw flashes of it. We saw him be a really good young player who still had things to learn. There's still things he can improve upon. I know people like to focus on the strikeouts, but this is a guy who, you're right, he's playing like a perennial all-star. He's probably going to start the all-star game. It'll be his second all-star appearance. There's some other important guys in this lineup, Gleyber Torres, Spencer Torkelson, but I think Riley Green is a legit middle-of-the-order force right now. I think Tigers fans have come to understand that. I'm not sure maybe nationally that's quite in focus yet. And yeah, the question, like, okay, is he your franchise player? Is he the guy you want to extend? I think it's a hard conversation because that health thing still looms. This is a guy who's missed significant time with injuries. Maybe they're kind of freak occurrences. Also, some guys are just more prone to getting hurt than others. He hasn't gone on the IL this year, but you had A.J. Hinch come out and say a few weeks ago, like, he's always on the verge of something. The Tigers have tried to be careful with how they play him. They still play him a ton. If I'm the Tigers, I think I want every data point I can get before offering this guy a contract extension. That means probably waiting a couple years. As much as he's grown as a hitter, he's not as fast. Go look at his average sprint speed. It's already declining. Go look at his play in the field. It's already declining. Those are some things that concern me. I'm worried about how well Riley Green will age, while at the same time I have immense respect for like the talent he is. But I think if you're a front office and you're talking about handing out a 9-figure contract, you have to be very responsible with that. And a player with his history and certain trends going on, I don't know that I would rush into that sort of deal.
Anything changed with your thought process on Tarik Skubal and what you think will happen with him?
No, I mean, everyone loves to talk about it, and I get it. It's a fascinating topic. There's just not actually a ton to say, right? Like, Skubal is a great pitcher. Skubal is also a pitcher in an era where guys get hurt. Skubal is also a Scott Boras client who has a chance to set a record deal for pitching. The Tigers could offer him $1 bajillion. Scott Boras still might want to test free agency, bid against the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Mets, whoever else. I'm not saying it's impossible. Skubal signs an extension, but there are some headwinds the Tigers face regardless of what Scott Harris or Chris Ilitch does. Those are the factors at play, and none of that is going to change until like something actually happens. So we can obsess over it all we want. I'm not sure anything is going to change until Skubal's actually eligible to become a free agent.
What is your this team's a lot of fun to watch, and part of that's because they were bad for so long, and this is still a fairly new phenomenon. Started late last year, but they are aggressive on the base path. There is still an underdog mentality to them. There are guys whose stories, people that a lot of us have given up on. There are a lot of things to like about them. What is the thing that makes this team enjoyable to cover, and then also when you look at them and say that that's something that gives them a chance to win playoff series, what would that be?
Yeah, two things that come to mind. Like I mentioned earlier, the Winsel Perez factor, the guys who have formed the backbone of this team, kind of makes it interesting to watch and cover because it's kind of a cliche, but it really can be a different guy every night, kind of leading the way to victory. It's not just two guys who you were talking to in the clubhouse every single day and two guys who, if they hit, it's going to determine whether they win or lose. Like this is a team of 13 position players, and they all matter. A lot of them have great stories. Another thing is the A.J. Hinch factor. Fun to cover, incredibly smart, media savvy, something that gives them a chance to win in the postseason. His style of managing. It's aggressive, but it also tends to be data-driven. That doesn't mean there's no human feel, but go look at his decisions. He puts guys in mathematical positions to succeed. He's creative with his lineups. He's creative with bullpen usage. Everyone wants to debate how much managers matter in the modern game. One of the preeminent arguments for managers still mattering, I think, is A.J. Hinch, what this team did last year, what they're doing this year. Sometimes it's the small things that make a difference in the postseason, and the manager could be one of them in the Tigers' case.
Cody, always a pleasure to talk to you, man. Thanks for carving out some time for us, and hope you're still having fun with it, and we'll talk to you soon. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, man. It's the great Cody Stavenhagen from The Athletic. Always enjoy his work. Some really good stuff. And not just he has a good story on a knuckleball prospect in the Tigers organizations at AA Erie right now. And just some really cool stories he finds. He does a nice job at The Athletic. Anything you take away from that?
I strongly disagree with him on Riley Green. I mean, he's 24 years old, and I don't know what injury. I mean, I understand in 2022 the right foot fracture, but I mean, 2024 he missed how many games with a right hamstring strain? I mean, it's not like I don't think that Riley Green, especially when you look at guys like Casey Mize. I know pitchers are different, but him getting yanked. I mean, these guys get pulled after if they fart weird. They're like, we might need to sit on the bench or put you on the IL or a 10-day or something like that. The guy's 24 years old. He's going to make an All-Star game. He's going to start an All-Star game this year. What are we talking about? Not I can understand not signing these 10-year, 11-year deals. I don't like doing that, But I just feel like, what are we talking about? We've been waiting for Riley Green since 2018, and it's finally here, and we're like, we might just let him just play for 2 years, and we'll see where he's at.
Nick, to me, a Riley Green 6-year contract would make a lot of sense. Let the guy be 30.
It would always. A 6-year contract makes sense. No, put insert name here. Right. I just don't want to get into the Miggy Cabrera situation ever again. By the way, I guess, we sit there and think about that Miggy contract and how we had to sit through all the fat Miggy years, but I got to say, the guy did produce. And if you said Riley Green's going to hit for a triple crown next year, I'd be like, sign him to an 11-year deal. We'll just pay it out. Yeah, he's still the best Tiger hitter I've ever seen. Yeah, oh, God, yeah.
And people have to
probably the best hitter of our Tony Gwynn, but I guess it's our lifetime, right?
And our listeners and viewers have to sit through a lot of fat years with me, so I don't really understand what I'm not in a position.
Yeah, but all of a sudden, you do actually say, you are kind of like Miggy. Like,
I'm fat Miggy.
This is the best shape of my life right now. I'm in the best shape. Because that was the thing with Miggy. It's like, oh, he's in the best shape of his life. And McCoskey would fucking tweet that out, and you'd be like, oh, great. I just disagree. I'm looking over because when Cody said that, I'm like, okay, let me look up Riley Green's injury history. And I'm looking it up, and it doesn't look anything glaring. I mean,
he is right though.
In Tommy John surgery, after he's making a diving catch, I mean, that's what he does in the outfield. He makes unbelievable catches.
He is not the athlete he once was in terms of speed. He's right on that. You watch him, he doesn't, and so I don't know if down the road he'll play a different
Was
position.
he ever a burner though? I mean, he does run like he just I love watching Riley Green run because it reminds me of when I was running from MIPs on the East Lansing campus back in the early 2000s when you were scared of cops. I just looked. I was
Wait
like,
a second,
straight up.
So did you actually at one point you were like running from the police?
Yeah, TJ Duckett was there. He was in the backyard, and I saw TJ Duckett, and I was 40 years old.
Give me the story because this is too good.
It's not real. That's pretty much it. It was a house party in East Lansing, and in the early 2000s, they could literally just stop you, like when you were walking at night, like you've been drinking tonight, and put a flashlight on you. And so when the cops, I had 3 of them at the time, and I was like, I mean, it was a natural reaction at that point. But we were at some house party off Gunson Street or something like that, and we were in the backyard, and TJ Duckett was there. I was like, oh, hell yeah. So we were hanging out, and I'm sitting there probably just overly staring at TJ Duckett at the time, and all of a sudden someone goes, cops, cops, and you saw lights, and I just started taking off, and I looked like Riley Green. Like, you know how he has he stands straight up, and he's got his back arched a little bit?
Yeah.
That's his me, because I feel, I'm not fast, but I know if I keep my form tight, like I can get some speed going. So I got away.
Nice.
Yeah.
Were they on your trail?
But no, I don't know. I didn't look behind me. I just run until someone either leg kicks me and knocks me over. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to fight police officers, or if I see a cop and says stop, I would have stopped. But if you're just going to yell cops and everybody scatters, I'm going to run. I have to absolutely run.
That is a story absolutely worth telling, and somehow we hadn't heard before. Oh, in like the 7
I've told
years
you about
my
4 MIPs that should have been 5, but they ran out of straws in one of the apartments parties I was at.
What?
Yeah, Cedar Village. Party in Cedar Village. There was an undercover cop. This is prior, way outside of that one, and they had where they're undercover. The guy looked a little old, in this party, and I was like, and. So we were sitting in the apartment. There's nowhere to escape from that one. So you just see cops coming in. Well, so I immediately, they took, like back in the day, there was like, oh yeah, these like tricks to get out of a breathalyzer or something like that. So I had a penny in my pocket because I read something about like if you put a penny under your tongue, I'm pretty sure my Uncle Dave told me this. And so I put a penny under my tongue and make sure I go all the way to the back of the apartment. And it kind of worked. The strategy worked because they ran out of those straws where you blow in the PBT thing.
Yeah.
So the guy looked at me and he all right. So he ran out of straws. So he puts up a finger, and so he goes to try to get my eyes. He goes, follow my finger. And I got one good eye. So with my lazy eye, probably followed one way and my other eye went the other way. And he just goes, get out of here. He was just disgusted with me. And then, yeah. So I got out of that MIP too. I could have set records. I don't know what the record is in East Lansing, but man, they could honestly, back in the day, the early 2000s, just swing up and flash a light at you and have you come over to the car. MIP, boom. I don't think they can do it anymore, but
I think Alvin Ellis set the record for a while over.
Did he really?
State. No, he just had 2 in a short time, and that pissed.
And then they
off.
suspended my license, and then like I hid it from my stepdad. Excuse me, at the time was an attorney. So dumb, and I tried hiding it from I got the book thrown at me. I had to drive or not drive for 3 months. My mom had to give me a ride to I was working at Channel 10 WILX, and it was worse than any probation I could have ever went through because my mom had to pick me up after the 11 o'clock news, and it was just, she read me the riot act, driving me. She's like, you're just going to have to get an apartment over here. I can't keep doing every fucking day, like 5 days a week I worked. And it was the worst. I would rather have done a year of probation or anything like that than having your mom have to pick you up and take you to work, scolding you every single drive for 3 months. By the way, I never understood that. MIP, I was not driving. That's a DUI. I guess you have to punish kids somehow. Anyway,
I've never understood why. Like I remember being upset with Izzo at one point for bringing out. It was Aaron Harris who got a DUI.
Oh.
And Alvin Ellis had 2 MIPs, and they were like brought out for the same scolding press availability. And I'm like, these are 2 very different things. Like one is,
I forgot about the Aaron Harris.
I will buy Alvin Ellis's beer for him if this is going to be an issue. Aaron Harris, that's actually dangerous. Dude,
they were handing them boys out, man, back in the day. There were some lawyers making easy cash off that shit.
That is a story absolutely worth telling, presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing, which, by the way, this Thursday night at 7 p.m. and 8 p.m., Disney Trivia. And come enjoy the glass slipper cocktail while at their Disney-themed trivia tomorrow. That's Thursday, starting 7 p.m. Call to reserve a table, 517-977-1349 if you want to play Disney Trivia and have a team, 517-977-1349. If you're good at Disney, this is your chance at Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing. Fantastic stuff, man. All right, should we take a break and see if we can get Harry? Get Harry on the phone. Couch in the Rube, our Wednesday show, presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask and Company Kitchen and Bar.
Firekeeper's online casino and sportsbook is the site to play from your phone, tablet, or laptop. Get in on all the football action with pre- and in-game wagering. There's showdowns every week in football that you can't miss. Plus, the college and pro hoops are red hot, and the pucks are cool. Get your first casino deposit and sports wager matched up to $500 each. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and located in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117. Where else can you cheer on your team, enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi, sip on handcrafted cocktails, or one of 46 beers on tap? Take your game day or date night to Cask and Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. Two amazing places with one awesome blended modern American Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask and Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Ever wonder how comfortable you can be and how good you can look? Put on a Muskox flannel and find out. Muskox has new arrivals for this fall, including the Caper Green Grand Flannel, which even makes couch look good. Muskox is a Detroit-based flannel company that creates soft and durable flannels made to last a lifetime. They become a great partner with Couch in the Rube, not just because they make us look good and feel good, but because they're good people too, and a socially conscious company. For every $100 purchase, $10 is donated to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation. Muskox flannels are designed with 100% cotton that is ethically sourced and double brushed for softness. Feel the quality and comfort of a Muskox flannel by ordering at GoMuskox.com, where Couch in the Rube listeners can enjoy $15 off their flannel purchase with the promo code HOFF.
Find Couch in the Rube podcasts on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, CastBox, and the Rube's favorite podcast addict.
Couch in the Rube, our Wednesday show, presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask and Company Kitchen and Bar. Go to caskandcompany.com to make a reservation. Take the people you care about in your life to Cask and Company in Front 43. And it is time now for the great Harry Gagnon and talk some gambling presented by the Firekeeper's Eye Casino and Sportsbook app. Harry, of course, from Against All Odds with Cousin Sal, The Ringer, and BetOnline.com. Harry, how you doing, brother?
Hey, what's up, guys? Just reporting in here from Basque Country in San Sebastian, Spain. How about that, Graham?
Your life is like no other. I asked Jason the other day, is he running with the Bulls? I mean, what's going on there? But he assures me you have not run in a while. So that's
I figured you haven't run since the Clinton administration, so I just figured,
I was speaking actually to a woman yesterday during the Springsteen concert when it was pouring rain. Security guard asked her where she was from. She told me where the running of the Bulls is at, and I asked her if I'm in Pamplona, and I asked her if I should do it. She said, no, I tell you not to do. I said, thank you, I won't.
Yeah, that bull would look at you, Harry, and think lunch. I think that would be a bad deal. Be a bad deal for you. What are you doing over there?
Just exercising. Actually, getting a lot of exercise in, enjoying a little vacation. And
nice.
I got to tell you, Graham, there are like little casinos, guys, around the area. And the other day, Graham, it's a bad luck soccer story. I win 60 at roulette, so I go to they have actually kiosks, like 3 or 4 kiosks for sports betting. but there's nobody to help. So I go to put that 60 that I won at roulette. I was going to put it on Paris Saint-Germain over the Seattle Sounders, -1.5.
Oh,
but the
what a
whole
hit.
thing
Yeah.
is in Spanish.
Mm.
The whole thing's in Spanish. I got like 22 minutes to bet the action on the match, and I can't print a ticket, and I don't know why. There's 2 employees in the place. They don't know how to run the thing. I was lucky to get my money back, I guess, but I don't get in on the bet -1.5, and of course they win 2-0.
That's the worst. This happens to me. There's a program called VIX, VIX. It's like a streaming service. It's all in Spanish. It's sort of like Netflix for Spanish, but they have a lot of soccer on, and I can never get far enough to all the way subscribe. It's ridiculous.
Well, you know what though? Like on the screen, there's like commas and semicolons, and the words are obviously in Spanish. And I don't know if I'm betting -1. I don't know what I'm betting. So I tried. I wouldn't punch a ticket. I somehow got my money. I hit a button. It was like 8 buttons. I don't even know what I'm doing. I hit one button. It gives me the ticket back for the 60 I put in, and I felt like I was a winner at that point, even though I should have won the bet.
But I like that the employees have no idea. But I would like to hear what Harry was trying to say to them, like like on Harry's end, was he?
It's like at the grocery store sometimes here, Basque Country. They really don't know a lot of they don't know English at all. So like it's really like Chinese, to be honest. So kind of rough.
The explanation, Harry's sitting there yelling at them, talking about trying to roll up the $60 win into this bet, and he can't print a ticket. I mean, that's what we need. That's the side we need to hear.
2-0, Graham, -1.5. It was perfect.
Oh, it was a nice play, and I've lost quite a bit of money on this Club World Cup. I have not been hitting for the most part. That was one I did. I've been winning more on the pre-Wimbledon tennis, and betting some of that over in Eastbourne in Mallorca as well. But you've been on a little bit of a run. 14-6 against the spread in your last 20 picks on Against All Odds. That's an impressive run. I feel like we need to milk that a little bit, Harry. We need to jump in here.
That's on all Major League Baseball. 14-6, my last 20 overall, and I have a game not for today, but tomorrow, Thursday.
Okay.
I'm going to give out my play. I'm going to be recording. We record Against All Odds at 1 a.m. tonight, my time. But I'm going to be giving out the Rays for Thursday. Don't have a line as of yet, but they're taking on the Royals. The Rays are rolling, nipping at the Yankees' heels, guys, in the AL East. I won a few weeks back with Shane Baz, and I'm going to go with him again. Tampa Bay is 6-0 in his last 6 starts. And talk about run support. In 4 of those 6, he's received 9 runs or more. Meanwhile, Kansas City starter Michael Lorenzen, you guys know, who used to play for and pitch for the Tigers, has been getting worse each month. In May, his ERA was 5.34, and now in June, in 4 starts, he has an ERA of 6.30. Give me the Rays over Kansas City.
I'm in on it.
Thursday.
For Thursday night. Yeah. All right. Let's talk some golf here too. I know Jason has some picks for the Rocket Classic.
Yeah.
And what, like, Jason, you want to go first, and we'll see what Harry has on the event as well.
Yep. I got music.
By the way.
Yes. Go ahead, Harry.
I was going to say, by the way, with you guys, Jay, you're going, correct?
I'm going Friday. Yes.
What is the weather report?
Not good. It's supposed to rain. I bought a rain hat on Amazon and everything, so I'm preparing myself for the worst.
A rain hat? What's that look like?
Just like a big ass hat that's going to stop rain from coming over my head, I guess. Like, I don't know. It was on Amazon.
I got a poncho if you want it. I can bring it tomorrow.
I know how to get a poncho. I appreciate it. Like, how much is a poncho?
It's like $1.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, that's a very nice gesture, but
you're welcome.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Should I go now?
I could have used a $1 poncho last night in the pouring rain, I'll tell you, but yeah.
No one feels bad for you. You were watching Bruce Springsteen in Spain, smoking glorious-looking weed.
Oh, my God.
Harry sends me pictures of weed, and I'm just like, oh, my God. I don't know. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
All right, Rocket Classic, here we go. I don't know what music this is. BBC Golf Classic theme. All right, let's do a top 30, boys. I got Alex Smalley. Top 5 in shots gained. Total averages 306 yards off the tee. This course, Detroit Country Club, Harry, it's going to be a little bomb and gouge, they're saying. Smalley's also good on the green, 68% greens in regulation. Also, so it's going to be a little two-golfer parlay, top 30. Pays out plus 339. So we got Alex Smalley. We're going to add Harry Hall, who's second overall in shots gained putting. Second on tour in strokes gained and first in putts per round. This putter is hot. He's got 5 straight top 25 finishes, including a T9 at Travelers, which was last week, and a T6 at the Charles Schwab. So plus 339, a little top 30 for you guys. Do you want me to keep going? I got a couple more.
Yeah. Give us what else you got.
Top continental European, Thorbjorn Olesen.
Thorbjorn.
Top continental European. It's plus 600. Last 5 starts for Thorbjorn. Olesen averaging 1.143 strokes gained total per round. Olesen has been the most consistent out of the competitors in the top continental European category. You got the Højgaard bros, Rasmus and Nikolai, and also Alex Noren. But those guys aren't playing as hot as Olesen. I'm saying this is good value. I don't know if it'll hit, but at plus 600, I think out of the guys in the top continental European category, Olesen's 6 top 30s in the last 7 starts and a top 20 in shots gained in the putting category gives value here at plus 600. And finally, sprinkle on the winner. I sprinkled on this the other day. Jake Knapp. This is a perfect course for Jake Knapp. Bomb and gouge. Shot a 59 at the Cognizant Classic in March. He's got 2 top 20 finishes in his last 5. So he also top 20. You can get him at plus 210. I'm going to sprinkle on that. But I also sprinkled on the 80-1, little $10 to win $800 for Jake Knapp to take down the Rocket Classic at the Detroit Country Club.
That's beautiful.
Like
Harry, you got anything for Detroit this weekend and in the Rocket Mortgage Classic?
I do. I like Jason's reasoning on those picks. I may figure out somehow a way to jump on those. I also like Minwoo Lee, top 10 plus 185, tied for second last year, and also Davis Thompson, also tied for second last year at 17 under. You can get him at top 20 for plus 145, top 10 3-1. Davis tied for 25th last week at the Travelers and finished top 10 at the Players this year. And again, like I said, finished tied for second last year. So I like those type of bets. And also those 2 guys, both to make the cut. And you get plus 116 on that.
You know it's serious when Harry repeats the bet. You know it's serious.
There might be some other some things going on around him. You know, if I was in Spain right now.
One other thing I wanted to get to is Harry, you were asking what we think of the Steelers' win total for the season, over 8.5.
Yeah.
And NFL win totals are out. College win totals are out. By the way, you see Michigan State at 5.5 now, and I think there's a little bit of value on that. I think
plus money on that.
It's not plus money. It's minus money on the over. But
How's their non-conference schedule?
It's not bad, and it's large. Boston College is the tough one, and it's at home. And so I think they're
Couch did try talking me into it. We went through the schedule on one of the shows. I think a couple weeks ago.
I think
it makes sense.
I think they're going to get there, and I think it's a good way for people not to bet individual weeks. If you've got like a payout at the end of the year, and you just got to get to 6.
But if it doesn't hit, you're going to hate this team so much.
Oh yeah,
you're going to hate Jonathan Smith so much.
It'll make it all the worse. That's the way it always is. But again, it's not like a year where, like, if they don't get to 6, you're going to be upset anyway. Because people will be upset at a 5-7 season. So it feels like it just makes 6 wins feel all the better.
But to answer his question, I think I would take the under 8.5
for Steelers.
Right? Yeah, with Rodgers and the injury history. I don't think he makes it the whole season there, right? And then they have Mason Rudolph and really no backups, Harry. So, I mean, I think I would take the under on that.
I would too, and I just think that this might be Tomlin's worst season in Pittsburgh. There's no guarantees, like you said, Jay. Injuries could definitely. He's going to be 41 or 42 in December, and plus his production just might not be that great. Even though Najee Harris is gone, even with him in Pittsburgh the past 3 years, Pittsburgh's run game and yards per carry was one of the worst in the leagues, and now he's not there. And I don't think Metcalf, even though they got him, I don't think he can do it all. I'm not sold on the offensive line either. And schedule-wise, I just plus, I don't care for Rodgers either, so I root against him ridiculously. But 8.5 seems like a big number because you got to play Cincy and Baltimore twice, and the rest of the non-conference schedule, or division schedule, is Minnesota, Green Bay, an improving Bears team, Buffalo, Miami, and of course they play Detroit. That's tough.
It is tough. Yeah, no,
that's a loss for us.
Well, in Detroit, I feel good about the over's 10.5, and it's plus money on the over. I know everybody's talking about how tough Detroit's schedule is, but if they're, the idea that Detroit can't get to 11-6 after going 15-2 just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean,
with all the injuries last year,
the Lions' schedule may be tough, but everybody else is looking at the Lions like they don't want to play them either. Like
we're good on the road. We own Green Bay. Like I'm not scared of the schedule as we sit in June right now, boys. Like
Yeah.
I know we can say that, but you can't tell me what some of these teams are in June right now.
Right. But the only thing that you guys are, I mean, again, 15 wins, and you got to get what, Graham? You got to get 11?
11 wins the bet. Plus money.
It's just, again, but like Jay said, just like the injuries last year, that's the only thing you could say about that's negative. Is it's such a beatdown at the end of the season. Still, even if that were to happen throughout the year, still you can get to 11. You have that much talent, even if you are missing a couple guys. This team is still damn talented to get 11.
Yeah, we won 15 games last year with injuries. I think if Jared Goff goes down, obviously it doesn't hit.
That's baked in. That's why it's gambling. Anybody loses their quarterback, you're in
But I think if Jared Goff can stay upright, I think we win 11, 12 games.
Right. No, it's Harry, I got to say,
Jared Goff.
When we get back in July and we start getting towards football, I cannot wait to talk football with you. I'm so psyched for the season. It's going to be fun to get back into it. Harry, you're a beautiful man. Thanks for calling from Spain, and we just, man, I hope you have the time of your life over there, and stay away from bulls. So.
Take care, guys. Have fun with the golf.
Thanks, man. See you.
The great Harry Gagnon from Against All Odds with Cousin Sal, The Ringer, and BetOnline.com. And that is our gambling segment today, presented by our friends at Firekeepers and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Good show. That was fun, man.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. We'll be back Thursday. That's just tomorrow. And we'll do Groovy Donut Twitter question show and get into it. So Jason Friday is at the golf with his golf hat and whatever poncho I buy him for $1. Yeah. And we appreciate Cody Stavenhagen coming on. Read his work at The Athletic. We appreciate Harry, of course. We appreciate all of you listening. Thanks to Midtown Brewing Company and, of course, to our Wednesday show sponsor, Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Roof.